Yeah, that's fair.
I can't afford anything but like sleeping, standing up in a closet.
It's insane. I was just there visiting a buddy of mine, a couple that lives out there, and they live in Brooklyn. And they actually have a decent sized apartment. So I crashed on their couch when I was there. But yeah, it's everything is divided by half of what I currently have in Chicago. So it's like that
Yeah,
everywhere. You go into the bars or any restaurant, everything's close quarters. It's very, if you're claustrophobic, I don't think New York City is the place for you. That's for sure.
absolutely. Absolutely. I remember living there in the 90s and I had to leave because I was turning into like one of those, not a Karen. I mean, I already got that nailed down, but I was turning into a New Yorker. I was like, move your taxi.
Yeah, you definitely have to become more aggressive a little bit living out there. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. The comedy scene is very fun out there. I'll say I did a couple spots. Was it like 2 weeks ago, a week ago? And that was a blast. Like very talented people out there, obviously. They were all really professional, great to work with. But yeah, it's crazy out there. I actually happened to do a show right around the same time that SantaCon was going on. And so that was insane. It was my first time performing in like Manhattan proper. And they like filtered into the bar that we were at and we were performing in the back. I luckily I had like one heckler right at the end of my set that he said something really funny, so it worked. And then I got off, and then unfortunately the two comics after me had to deal with the craziness of all these like Santa and like I don't even know, crazy dressed up people that were very drunk coming in. Which was it's entertaining from the audience point of view, but yeah, from a performer side, can be a nightmare a little bit. But yeah, it was fun though. I'm like I'm so invested in Chicago. I love Chicago so much. I've lived in a couple different cities now, LA, DC, Buffalo, and in New York City I love. I've always visited, but after like 2, 3 days, I'm ready to be back in Chicago for sure. That's crazy. How long did you live in New York for?
I lived there in the 90s for an entire year, which felt like a decade.
Yeah, pretty much is. I think.
Yeah, I
I think
lived
that's how
in
that math works.
Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, and I was barking at Stand Up New York.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I was, like I'd be barking for Robin Williams to have a crowd.
That's insane.
Yeah, like he needs my help.
Yeah, right. That's so cool. So you got to see him perform in New
No,
York? Oh man,
I got to
that's a
see
bummer.
Judah Friedlander and Caroline Ray
That's awesome. I
way
I
back.
actually I met Judah Freelander at a like 30 Rock wrap up party in New York City. I was there trying to get a job right out of college with ABC daytime, which I don't think it would have been a I mean it would have been a cool job in New York City, but it wasn't the right fit. They were like I was interviewing to be like to help with like The View and like daytime soap operas, and I had like no context of any of that stuff. So, but I did get to go to a 30 Rock rap party, and I got to hang out with Judah. He was really cool, very friendly, hilarious, and I got who else? I met Moby at that party. I met Childish Gambino before he was Childish Gambino. He was just like doing stand up and like I think he was working on 30 Rock at the time, but yeah, it was crazy. That was I always have like I mean, you live there for a year. You just have insane experiences bumping into people or just hanging around that city. There's so many people and so many things going on at any time there. It's overwhelming but really fun.
Yeah, it's so true. Where did you perform in New York, Seth?
Yeah, so I performed at under St. Mark's or I'm sorry, not under St. Mark's. I've been there. That place is awesome. It was St. Mark's Comedy Club. This is a new place I got to check out on St. Mark Street. Um that place was fantastic. We did like I have a buddy who does a midnight show on Fridays. Brad Rickert, hilarious comedian, very good
What's his
friend.
name?
Brad Rickert, check him out. He's fantastic. He did comedy in Chicago for like 10 years, produced all over the city. I ran into him taking classes at Annoyance Theater, which is run by Mick Napier, who big time improv and like sketch comedy director out of Second City. He runs his own theater here, which I love. That theater is fantastic. But when I first moved here, that was kind of my intro to Chicago back in 2019. So took classes there, met Brad, and then he kind of pushed me to do more stand up after we kind of graduated that program. And COVID happened, and it kind of made the most sense to kind of double down on that. So me and him produced some shows together, performed a lot. He helped me out a lot doing stand up out here in Chicago. And then he moved to New York about 2 years ago. So he produces that show as well. He's a maniac. He produces like 10 shows throughout the week. He's like fully in it. He does that and then like bartends 10 to 4 in the morning. He's on a
Wow.
crazy schedule. But we did that show and then I did a show at this place called The Vault in Manhattan. It was cool. It was a cool little bar. It was very kind of like divey vibes, but there was a bunch of cool stuff around it. Trying to forget, I forget where it was close to. I want to say like east side of
That's where I think
Manhattan.
it's at. A
Yeah, it
lot of
was
my friends from Comic Strip Live go there.
okay, awesome. Yeah, it was great. They had a perfect little back room. The drinks were cheap and the comics were awesome. It was one of those things where the St. Mark show was fun. And it was interesting doing like a midnight show. Like you kind of really have to ramp up the energy. Oh, this is kind of fun though. We did that show and I went on stage and I've this has never happened before. Every Pretty much every person in the audience was a white woman and there was one dude in the back and then like the other comics, but I was like I've never performed for a a full room of just like white women of different ages. And I was like, we're gonna see if my comedy works for this demographic. And it did. It was great. It was really fun. But that was a very like it's just kind of odd like having that experience. But that was very cool. That was at St. Mark's. And then the other one was like I had a bunch of friends come and it was a good little mixed crowd of people. And yeah, the talent on that one at the vault was crazy. I like made sure to get connected with all those people because I'm like, man, you guys are gonna blow up. Like everybody just had really great stage presence and like hilarious content. It was awesome. It was a good time. I just did
Yeah,
those two shows and then got to hang out with friends. On that second show was at like 7 p.m. During SantaCon, which was a little crazy, but got to hang out and catch up with everybody. A lot of friends from college in Buffalo. So it was cool. It was a great time. It
yeah,
was a
because
nice
in
little
the
trip.
intro of you that I didn't read, it says
Yeah.
here, he's a comedian from Buffalo, New York,
Yeah.
who currently lives in Chicago, and he's been performing comedy all over for 9 years and all over the country. Let's hear about you performing all over the country.
Yeah, so that's been a more recent thing. I got into comedy. I moved to DC after Buffalo, after college for about 6 years. And when I was 26, like 20s were a lot of me going to concerts, me like traveling a lot for work, but living in DC. And when I was 26, I was like, I'm gonna take a year off from drinking just because I was going pretty hard at it in the 20s. And I was like, yeah, let me take a year off and just see if I can and what comes out of that. And I got in like the best shape of my life. I saved so much money. It was a whole like it reverted everything. So during that time, I was like, I always wanted to take a an improv class or like a comedy class. And so I started taking improv and I had tried to do stand up prior to that, but it was always like super nervous. I get really bad stage fright. I drink too much before. So when I started doing improv, it kind of like broke down those walls of getting more comfortable on stage. So I did that for a couple of years, just really invested. And then through that, started doing stand up. That was so much easier to do then. And that I think I did that for man, about 3 years, and then was like, okay, time to move to Chicago. So moved to Chicago, kind of started all over again. It's like, all right, I'll take some classes to meet people and then just go to shows. So I did that for a year. COVID happened, reset again. So then I started producing shows out of COVID. and just really invested in doing a lot of stuff here in Chicago. So now I'm doing freelance. I was like full time doing live streaming. So now I'm doing freelance this year, traveling again. Like that's like picking up again. So with me
What's
traveling,
freelancing? Tell me about your three
sure.
screens and your freelancing.
Yeah, for sure. So basically I was helping with like live streaming events at like conferences and conventions. So very corporate world, but just kind of going on site, setting up the equipment and pushing that out. So I did that for about 11, 12 years. I went to school for film, so it kind of applied itself. And then after yeah, like this past year, past couple years, a little crazy with COVID. I did a lot of like remote work, which was fine. It was good for when I was doing stuff in Chicago, but then I kind of got a little antsy. I'm like, I want to travel again, but the full-time thing is a little like limiting with that. So I decided to just go freelance. So basically I just pick up gigs like all over the place. So for the old company, new companies, I do like lighting and audio at concerts and festivals now. So there's like fun stuff, and then there's like the corporate gigs that pay really well. But what's cool is the corporate ones now, they send me all over the country. So I've been able to basically double book myself where I do the work during the day and then I do stand-up gigs at night. So that's how I got to meet you in Vegas, like doing that barbecue show, which was fantastic. That was so much fun. Um, and then yeah, I've been able to perform in Boston, which was a blast. Philly was fantastic. Man, where else did I go? I'm back in DC now. Like next month, I got some stuff booked for there. All over the place. Basically, anywhere they send me now, I just kind of pick up stuff. Did some stuff in Huntington Beach in LA when I was out there. Um, yeah, it's fun. I
Where'd
don't
you
know.
perform in Philly? I lived in Philly for like 6 months.
Oh, really? Man, you lived all over the place. I think it's what I'm
Yes.
like learning. Philly, I performed at, let's see, Attic Brewing, which is like a newer spot. Have you been there? The
No.
place is great. North Philly, fantastic spot. Really big brewery, big outdoor area. But I did a show there, and then I did a show at Fergie's. Have you ever been to Fergie's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, like I've got so many videos of performing in Fergie's. I love
Fergie's
that
is
place.
awesome. Such a perfect venue. Like you go up there, it's its own little separate thing. There's like an elevated stage. It's like set up perfectly. Like the room's not too big either. Yeah, I was really lucky to go and do a set there, and they ran a great show. They took like really good pictures of me, and I wish I would have recorded my set. I'm gonna do it next time because it went really well. I don't know. It was fantastic. It was a great room.
When you
Um,
come in April, I'll be in New York City the whole month of April. And
oh
if you
man,
come to New York or Philly, let's go gigging together. We'll help each other get little spots.
I would love that. Yeah, definitely. I've been building, and this is like good advice for, I'm sure you do this, but like for other comics that maybe travel a lot now, or are starting to travel. I just built like a Word document on like Google Word document, and I just put in like, Philly, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. And then as soon as I find out any information about a show, I'll just put it on there and then who's the person to reach out to, and I've just been building this like it's like 10 pages deep already, and I've only been to a couple cities, but I do that, and then whenever somebody hits me up and they're like, "Hey, I'm going to be in Philly or I'll be in New York," I can just copy and paste it, and then I don't have to like search through everything.
Yes,
But
absolutely. And
it's
you
the
can
new
also throw in
Rolodex.
contact information of people you know that live there.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So it's a good call. Yeah, it's this year's been like the new move of trying to branch out to different cities and different people, and it's so cool because like Philly has like there's a lot of shows, but it's a much smaller pool of comics, so everybody's so like kind of close knit and like very welcoming. Like I did Fergie's, and then they were like, "Do you live here? Who are you?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I'm just here visiting. I'll be back again soon." And they're like, "Oh, cool. Reach out to this person, reach out to this person." So it was a great, that was one of the more welcoming cities I've been to. Vegas has been very much like that too. Like Vegas, I was super surprised at how many good comics are out there, man. It's like it's insane. Everybody did really good at that smoke the smoke show that we did together. Like even like the open micers were going up there and killing it. open
Yeah.
mics can be pretty brutal in Chicago. There's a lot of uh and I'm one of them, but a lot of like white dudes, middle-aged white dudes just going up there and kind of saying the same thing over and over again. So it was nice to see like a good mixture of perspectives and different people on that show. It was great.
I like the way that Steve McAnally gives everybody a spot. He doesn't care. He doesn't want to look at a tape. He just puts you on.
Yep.
And it always all works out. I mean, I've never been there where everybody sucked. You might have one person that has an off night.
Sure. Everybody had a great night that show that I was there. I was blown away. And it worked out beautifully because I invited a bunch of coworkers that also do freelance stuff. So it's nice because I can be like, hey, most of the time they're looking for something to do in the city. I'm like, hey, I'm going to be doing this show tonight if you want to come through. And I think we rolled through with like 8 or 9 people to that show. And it was
No.
awesome. So it was like the best case scenario. It was so
I
good.
know you had like the whole back area was full of hot men, hot young men. If I was a cougar, I would have said, Steve, I'm not going to perform. I'll be back there having a
You
party.
still good of. You still good. You're always welcome back there. You're not a cougar? What do you consider yourself then?
I like people, my men my age, but every year it gets harder and harder because they seem to keep dying.
Jesus. Okay.
One
Fair enough.
of these days I'm going to have to be a cougar by default.
Yeah, I think so. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. How long have you been in Vegas for?
I've been here 4 years.
Nice. That's
And
awesome.
I since the minute I got here, I've been trying to get a military gig, a regular thing that's mine that I produce and book, the whole thing. And I finally landed one in the monthly show that's live for military people to do comedy for the military
Awesome.
starts January 6th.
Oh, fantastic. That's so soon. That rocks. Congratulations. That's awesome.
This guy, every time, when a woman asserts herself, she's a bitch. That's what it was. I had to overcome that for 4 years.
Oh
Okay,
my.
call me a bitch, but
Right, right. Oh man. Well, I'm sorry you had to go through that, but that's awesome that you have this gig finally. Also, let me know, remind me when you come to Chicago because there's a couple of shows that I'm close friends with people that are producers out here that do like just for military um like like military specific performers. So
wonderful.
it's
I'm coming there March 14th through the
okay.
19th.
14th through the 19th. Okay, cool. I will get you on some stuff. We'll party.
And
Let's
if I
see.
have to stay longer for military stuff, I will.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, there's some really funny comics out here. Serena Monet comes to mind. She's hilarious, and she does like most of the stuff that she produces is for that. And then I have another buddy of mine who actually I'm performing with this week a couple times, Matthew Patrick Torres, he's I believe he's ex-Navy. And yeah, and I think she was ex-Marines. So yeah, a good mixture of different
Tell
people.
them about me, but tell them that when they come to Vegas, they have a guaranteed spot. I can't guarantee how many minutes, but they'll have a guaranteed spot on my shows.
Okay, will
I
do.
don't care if
Yeah,
I have to put 50 people up for a minute and a half. I
I
want
feel you.
I want I want my audience to be able to pick out their favorite comedian and follow them.
Definitely. That's funny you say that. I do a show that's it's it's the Power Hour. So we have 30 comics on in 1 hour is the way it rocks. So it's everybody gets 2 minutes. We have a big countdown uh timer on the TV screen over the person who's performing. And it's a little pop-up show we do at a bar called Jake's out here. And it's the first Monday of every month. Usually no one's there on like a Monday night, especially like beginning of the month. So we just take it over and then you get at least 30 people are there to perform. So you kind of have a built-in crowd. And then we cheers after each set. If you go over your time limit, at the bar's allowed to boo you. So it keeps everybody in line. No one really runs the clock then. They can't. So it's really fun. We do that and then we're changing it up. In the past, we would just do weird little intermission things, give out free stuff, whatever. But now I think we're gonna have like a feature in the middle. So they're gonna have like I think they're gonna have like 5 minutes or something like that, just to keep it tight. And then Yeah, and then it's still we get 30 plus people. We'll have people drop in and we pop them on too. But it's crazy doing a bar show. Like I was very impressed with the bar show that Steve ran because like it can be. I mean, he kind of set down the rules and it felt like people knew the deal when they got there. But when you do those bar shows, sometimes it can be like you're rolling the dice with who's going to come in or people that are there already if they're going to be down for it. But what I've come to realize is like for those like more kind of like this place is more of like a college type bar, so people are coming in to drink or with the intent of drinking. So we have it built in where we cheers after each, so now it's like okay, it's incorporating drinking into it. And then we have I think we do like $2 beer specials, which is nice. And then we keep those sets short because everybody's attention spans are so are so limited in those spaces. So it works out perfectly. So I highly suggest that show if anybody's ever in Chicago and wants to have a fun Monday night. Come
The
through.
first Monday of every month, and where's that at?
That's at Jake's Pub. That's in Lincoln Park area, a little north of Chicago, not too far, like I think 10 minutes outside of downtown. Um,
I got on a show at the Laugh Factory on the 18th.
Congrats. That's going to be awesome.
It's
You
not
know
a
what show
club,
it
it's
is?
not a club produced show, as you'd
Okay.
probably know. They do the independents, but
Yep.
Steven Springer's show, The
Nice.
Geezers of Comedy.
Nice. Oh, I remember you told me about this when we were hanging out last time. That's awesome. Congratulations. Have you performed there before? Okay, yeah. It's awesome.
One one time.
I've done it a couple times, probably like 3 or 4 times now. Wide variety of shows, like classic showcases, and then there was one where like you had to eat a hot pepper and then do a set. And I ate like a habanero. I ate a large habanero. I've never just done a habanero like that before. And I was like, oh, I'll take the big piece. And they were like, wow, the big piece. And I felt like I was tripping out on stage. It was really bad. My face like puffed up. And yeah, it was I would like tell a joke, but then I'd be like, I don't know where I am. And I would like go into the next one. So that was a pretty insane experience. I did a late night show there too called Sex and Shy City, and it was like a body positive show. It was the late night show. I think it started at like midnight, 12:30. And
Was that a Tiny Thickums?
that was yeah, exactly. Yep, is her. And I think it's or she does the I'm sorry, she does the nasty show, which I've seen a bunch. Very similar concept. This one was with Lisa Lair, who is hysterical and an awesome performer producer as well. I think they even do collabs sometimes because they're both on the same page with their shows. But yeah, this one was like everybody you had to come out in something that was like revealing to a certain extent. And I was gonna come out in like short shorts, booty shorts, and like maybe take my shirt off. And then she told me that I was the headliner. So I was like, okay, I gotta up my game. So I came out in America Speedo. Um and at 1:30 in the morning, I think people were kind of people were pretty lit and like over I don't know. I think they were kind of like done with the show a little bit. And then I came out in a Speedo and people were like, what the fuck? And it was I was like, yeah, all right, we're doing this. So some people's nightmares is performing in their underwear, and I got that checked off. So we did that 1:30 in the morning at Laugh Factory. But that place is great. It's like a huge theater. You get people up on the balconies. It's awesome. It's such an experience performing there. I
It
love it.
is. And the crowd, I can't believe how people in Chicago line up, no matter what the weather is, around
Yep.
the block to get in.
Hmm. Yeah, it's people are down for it. That's I think that's why a huge reason why I love this city so much is like people show up for shows. If you tell them about a show, they're like, "Oh, I'll be there." It's very like
Yes.
ingrained in the culture here, which is awesome. So, yeah, that place is awesome.
And believe
Can't
it
say
or
enough
not,
good things
people
about
are
it.
like that in New York too. If you
Yeah.
are, if you like, say you're in the store and you're buying something, and you just happen to get in a conversation, they'll go, "Oh, you're from Chicago? What are you doing here?" "Comedy. I'm on a show tonight." "Oh, well, I'll come."
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. People are down for it. It's great. I love it. The one
So
thing about
cool.
Laugh Factory, I will say, we'll see how your show goes. I'm curious. I'll have to come out and support it. But it's people like to yell a lot more at that venue. I don't know if it's because it's like bigger or I don't, it's just a weird thing. Every time I go there, there's always someone will always heckle from the crowd. And it's usually like, it's not anything like aggressive. It's just always people, I don't know, they get into that venue and they think it's okay to just start yelling. But the comics are always like really professional with it and know how to handle it. So it's usually always entertaining, but you're just like, what the heck? It's so weird that I don't think I've had a show where someone hasn't yelled out. So
I've heard that. I heard that you have to really come there and be ready because they will heckle you.
oh yeah, yeah. I can handle it a little better these days, but I think early on I'd just be like, okay, and then like I'd be like, cool, and then on to the next thing before they can like I don't know, keep going with it. But yeah, now I think that's a testament of like how comfortable you are on stage when people start heckling you. You can kind of like be like, give them some space. They usually set themselves up and then move on.
Yes. I want to tell you a quick story about a
Yeah.
debacle I had at a Laugh Factory. Are you ready for this?
Oh my God. Yeah, please.
It's really short. It's a
Okay.
short little vignette here. So I went to a city that will go unnamed,
Okay.
not Vegas, but in Nevada, so you can figure it out. And I'm helping a headliner to sell tickets, right? So she decides she's going to give me a couple guest spots
Okay.
there. So I get up and I do the guest spots and I let the club owner in Vegas know. And he says, "What? You did what without my permission?" So I'm kind of banned,
Oh my God. Are you serious?
kind of like I'm a bad child. And that's been 2.5 years ago.
And still you're like, man, what the heck? That's crazy. I've never even heard of that. It's he owned the same club and you didn't approve. Man, I didn't know that that was
I mean, when the headliner gives you a spot, do you think, just a minute, let me call
no.
whoever that owner, you don't, let me call the landlord?
What the hell?
Yeah.
Are they known for being real touchy about stuff? Is that why? Or I
I
don't know.
only
That's
want to be
weird.
banned for another 2 years, so I'm not going to
Yeah,
answer
you're like,
that.
I'm not even gonna. Yeah. Jeez. Was the set good at least?
Yeah, I did it
Okay.
great.
All right.
And
Well,
I was told that I had to get rid of the video,
oh man, that
but
stinks. Okay, cool. Whatever, you're already banned. So
it's
who
on my
cares?
camera. I own it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's awesome. So you okay, so you're going to New York soon. You're coming to Chicago. Are you going anywhere else coming up?
So I'm going to be in New Jersey, but I'm not allowed to say the date until after I do something that's a surprise for somebody. I'm
Okay.
keeping that, but I'll tell you privately.
Okay.
I'm going to be in New Jersey doing a veterans show,
Awesome.
and I'm setting that up. I'm getting in. See, as a veteran, I can sign for a venue that normally charges an arm and a leg for a comedy show to be there, but they'll give it to a veteran.
Oh wow. It's
So I can,
huge.
so now I have the paperwork all filled out for this VFW, and that opens me up to go to most any VFW because he let me and I did a good job. And
Nice.
it also opens me up to get that 160 seat venue that they're not giving to me and give it to a big producer for free.
Huge. That's awesome.
So I like helping other people.
Yeah, that rocks. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I was gonna say my that one friend of mine, Serena out here, she does a lot of shows, but they're always for vets, so that does make sense. Like that kind of gives you an in to probably yeah, a little easier to work with and they're not charging as much, like you said. That's awesome. Very cool. So
Yeah.
New Jersey, Chicago, New York. Are you trying to move to New York? Is that the game plan? Okay, cool. Just for
I
like
I
for
lived
how long?
there a few times in my life. I'd like to die there.
Oh,
I
dang.
would
Okay.
like my body cremated and smashed all over the sidewalk, like a bike messenger hit me.
Oh my God.
I love New
But
York.
what sidewalk in New York? Does it matter? Just any sidewalk?
Well, I'd like a little bit of ashes in every area, and the last, when they are getting ready to throw out the urn, I'd like them to chop up the urn really fine and put it all over Harlem because that's where my parents lived
Oh,
in
nice.
1947 when they came here after Hitler's downsizing program.
Jeez, that's crazy. Oh my gosh.
I
Where,
can't say Holocaust that because that didn't exist.
oh my,
Got to
wait,
sneak it.
where did they move from?
They came from Germany.
Germany. Okay. Wow. Crazy. That's insane.
Yeah,
Harlem.
that's a good that I like that description of the Holocaust. It's insane.
Yeah,
Those times
100%.
were insane.
For real. I just watched the Pianist last night. I hadn't seen that movie before. That's a crazy that's a crazy movie. Great movie, but man, intense. Yeah. Um, that's awesome. So okay, so you grew up in Harlem, or they first moved there and then you grew up somewhere else?
So in those days, in 1947 or 46, whenever it was, I'm not real clear. People lie. They changed their names to protect the innocent. But anyway, when they came here for a year, they were up in 125th and Broadway, which is
Okay,
the heart. But in those days, it was called Jewish Harlem. There's a whole
gotcha.
history you can look up. And what was your question?
Did you grow up in Harlem, or did they move from there? Okay.
So the deal was they put everybody in these ghettos
Oh wow.
in there. They kept them separate from the other people. So Jewish ghetto of immigrants, and they let everybody in and to a certain point. And you were waiting. You couldn't even get here if you didn't have a sponsor. But it took a
Mm,
good amount of time for your sponsors' paperwork to go through. So they would be in the ghetto waiting for their. So my sponsor,
jeez.
I get all the breaks. My sponsor was on the Upper West Side of the U.S. map, Oregon.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I didn't get to live in New York, but my heart, I have that post World War II connection, and that's my city.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah. So
So
back to you.
oh no, it's all good. No, this is fascinating. So you
Oh,
grew up
sorry,
in
time's up.
you grew up in Oregon though? That's like where you okay, gotcha. Awesome. That's a place, you know what? That's a state like I have not or Oregon's a city, right? Am I messing this up?
Oregon is the state,
Oregon's the state. Which city did you grow up in, Oregon?
the one you never hear about in the news, Portland.
Portland. Okay, awesome. That's
Have you
crazy. I
heard
love
about all the
Portland.
rioting and the burning of statues and everything?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. How
Yeah.
could I not? Yeah, that's crazy. But it probably I'm guessing was a lot more calmer when you were growing up, not as
I know.
insane as it is
I
now.
was born in 1951.
Okay. Yeah.
It was so quiet and serene.
That's nice. That's a good
Okay, it
that
was
sounds
serenely racist, but whatever, you get the point.
that seems on point. I know a lot of people who have like moved from Oregon and like Montana to other cities and whatnot, but I've actually never I haven't been there. That's one of the few states I haven't been to.
You'll have to go. They got some good comedy going there. If
Yeah?
you go there, let me know because I still know some people that put on shows.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to. We'll have to try
Yeah,
and go there at the same time. You can introduce me to all the peeps.
I would love to do that. I would
Nice.
love to.
Awesome. So, okay, so you got some trips coming up. You got your big show. That show's in Vegas?
It is in Vegas.
Nice.
It's at the Leatherneck Club, which is on the south tip of Chinatown.
Okay.
So
I haven't been to Chinatown. I heard it's awesome, but
yeah, I like
very
go
cool.
the people that entrepreneurs that have those little shops one after another. They're so friendly to us white people.
Nice. That's
They don't
awesome.
have to be, but they are.
That's always great.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's fun. Really fun stuff coming up. I wanna for anybody who's watching this, I do want to plug I'm actually gonna record and film my first special this February. Really big deal. I've been planning this for like the past like 6 months to a year. So I'm from Buffalo, but I've never actually performed in Buffalo. So it's like, oh, we'll find the right venue and whatnot. And then it's been this thing that I've been building up to. So I'm like, you know what? I want my first special to be filmed there. I actually have friends that I went to school with who still do like professional videography, and they're gonna film it. And I'm doing it at this venue called Babeville. It's a church that they have like turned into a music venue, and they have this really cool like lower level that seats like about 100 people. And I'm doing like an early show at 8 and then a later show at 10:30. But it's gonna be like friends, family, everybody's coming in. I got people coming in from out of town to see it, but it's gonna be in February. And let me give you the date. If anybody watching this is in Buffalo, please come support it. It's gonna be crazy good. February 16th. It's a Friday at Babeville, and tickets are only like $20. I'm not like trying to break the bank with it at all. I just want people to come out and have a good time. But I'm really excited. I got my buddy Brad, who I mentioned earlier. He's coming in from New York. Another buddy, Zach Deesh, really funny Buffalo-based comedian who was in Chicago, and now he's killing it in New York City. And then I have another he's actually from Seattle, who now lives in Chicago, comic named Ron Hexagon. And he is like kind of absurdist, a little like he has all these like little mini pianos and like beat makers, and he just goes up and performs hilarious songs and is one of like the nicest people ever. So he's gonna drive up with me, and we're gonna be there all weekend. So it's gonna be a blast. I'm so excited. I rented out like an Airbnb for all the comics, and we're just gonna go up. A lot of them haven't been to Buffalo before, and I love being from Buffalo. Um, just like I have a lot of family there still, so it Chicago reminds me of like a if Buffalo was crazy big and successful, it would be the very same vibe as Chicago. It's just on a smaller scale. So people are super nice. And we're
Me
gonna
and
have a
my
good time.
comic friends out of New York, we know a lot of people up in Buffalo, so get me
Nice.
the flyer and I will
Okay.
tell people this guy is so cool. I really know him. I've met him. I've worked with him. You got to go support this guy.
I would love that. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm pumped. I think we almost have like the first show sold out. So if I can sell out at least one of them, I'll be like a happy camper. So I'll definitely pass that along to you. Also, another good friend of mine reached out to me and was like, "Did you meet Linda at that show?" Tina, do you know Tina from she's got purple hair, Johanna. She's like she like produces like crazy dark comedy out here, and she's got like glasses. She's hysterical. She was just on Kill Tony in Austin, and she's so funny. But it was totally out of the blue. Like we do shows together. I've had her on a bunch of my shows, and she reached out to me and was like, "Oh, tell Linda I said hi. She's the best." And I was like, "Yeah, she's awesome." So she says
I don't
hello.
remember if I've interviewed her, but if I haven't, tell her to get on here.
Okay, yeah, I
I'll
definitely will.
even do it
She can be
today.
down. Oh man, I'll hit her up. Yeah, she's definitely down. I've had her. So I also have I do a million things, by the way. I have a podcast out here called Bar Quest, and it's I go with a local comic or a comic who's in from out of town. We go to their favorite bar in Chicago, and it's like quick episodes, like 15, 20 minutes long. I had Tina on. We went to her favorite place, Reggie's, where she produces comedy, and it's been a really cool way to like there's a million bars in this city, so it's been really cool like discovering all these little hole in the wall spots, and just talking to people about their memories from there, and then connecting them. And everybody's doing something out here, so someone always has something to plug. But I have a couple episodes out. They're on Spotify. Check it out. BarQuest. Tina's on there. And I'm gonna do some more this upcoming year. I got some new mics, and it should be a fun. That's a fun little side project that I do. Kind of like I'm sure you doing like these interviews on YouTube and whatnot. It's like a fun way just to connect with people and talk a
Yes.
little bit about comedy.
When I come in March, can I meet you at a bar and pretend like
Yes.
like I've lived there
Yeah,
and
of
talk
course.
about
Yeah.
the bar? I'll ask the patrons about it and act
There you
like,
go. We could go anywhere you want. We can honestly, we could even do we could use like Laugh Factory to a certain extent if we wanted to, because you've been there before. So it
okay,
it applies to like any place. So and nobody's done Laugh Factory, so you'll be good. But you choose. If you discover something that you like more, or yeah,
Laugh
we'll go from
Factory.
there. All right, that'd be awesome. Perfect.
We have to get
That's
we have
great.
to get Curtis to get on and go, oh, here comes Curtis. What a coincidence. We stage it.
Little plug there. Yeah, love it. Awesome. Perfect. I would love
Okay.
to have you on. Cool.
Thank you.
But yeah, a lot of fun stuff coming up this year. Hopefully I'm back in Vegas soon. I could see it happening. They sent me out a lot this past year. So I'm excited to get back there. I think I met somebody from Wise Guys who does stuff out there, the club out there. So maybe do some stuff there. I would love to be back on Steve's show. And if it lines up where you're doing a show out there too, you let me know and I'll come support.
Tell me who all you know in Vegas that can help you, and I'll give you some other names. The only
Okay.
thing I don't do for anybody except my best friend, I don't vouch for comedy. I
Yeah.
just vouch that I know you and you're a good hang and a good person.
I do the same thing. I totally respect that. Yeah. So that's the way
Yeah,
to go.
yeah. That way I'm not saying everybody's gonna kill. I won't do that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
And
check
that's
this
such
guy
yeah.
out.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Cool. Well, yeah, I'll definitely let you know.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'll
Well,
give you a list of my friends that produce shows. Sometimes people like to keep it quiet, and then
yeah,
people have trouble getting booked. And like, I'll just tell you who to contact. I'm not telling
exactly.
them that you're gonna kill. You do that.
Exactly. No, that's what I was talking about before with that like that Word document. I just have like the connects and then I send it over and I go, here you go. This is what this is the information I've gained so far. So I think it's a community. So you want to help everybody out and there's a lot of good people out there that deserve to get some stage time. Um,
Yes.
so yeah, it's awesome.
You've
Vegas is
been
great though. I can't say enough great things about it. I had a blast the two time or I think I performed like 4 or 5 times over 2 trips and every place is just awesome. Had a blast. So much
Yeah,
fun.
well, come back because there's a lot more venues. And the venues you see right now and the bookers and everything right now may not be the same in a month. And
Yep.
and it keeps changing. So
Yep. Yeah, I know how that goes. Yeah. So
yeah.
that'll be a constantly updating Rolodex with that, but it'll be awesome. Cool.
Yes. Thank you for coming on. And
Oh my
um,
gosh. Thank you, Linda. This is
yes,
awesome. I can't wait to see you in Chicago, maybe Vegas before then. But good luck with your show. If I don't see you before then, I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
and
And
you guys, if you know anybody in Buffalo, I think
yes,
it's February 16th.
February 16th. I know I'm like double checking because I'm like, I don't want to get the 16th. Yes. In Buffalo at Babeville. We're gonna do 2 shows, 8 p.m., 10:30. Just go to Babeville or follow me on like Instagram or Facebook. I'm gonna be posting about it. I'm Seth Payne. On Instagram, I'm Shradical, which is SH Radical, Radical. I came up with that in college and I thought it was very cool at the time. And then I got a little older and was like, this isn't cool. But now that I'm a comedian, I'm like, all right, it's kind of dumb. And
It's like
it
a
sets me
tattoo.
apart from people. Yeah. Yeah, very much like a tattoo. So yeah, it comes in waves with that. But yeah, follow me on there and there's the ticket links are on there. And yeah, I would love for anyone to come out and support. It's gonna be, like I said, it's gonna be a great show. And it's the first time I'm doing like a full 45 to an hour set. So it's going to be pretty awesome. And then I'll release it on YouTube probably a couple months after and make a big event out of it if you can't make it out or if you're in a different city. So yeah, support me there. That
Very
would be
cool.
fantastic. And support Linda because she rules and she's out here hustling her butt
Yeah,
off.
we
And
both are. You're going around the country.
I know so are you. So we're gonna do it up. Chicago's gonna be a blast though. We'll get you on some really fun shows and we'll do a podcast and we'll come support you at Laugh Factory. It'll be awesome.
Thank you, Seth. You
Yeah,
guys, give it up for Seth Payne. Follow him and tell somebody in Buffalo or anywhere if they're gonna be traveling through Buffalo, to stop in. But they have hotels there, you guys.
they
Do it.
do. They do. It's true. It's a great
Thank
city.
you. Thank you, Seth. Love you
Yeah.
all.